first off, it's been such a pleasure to get to know you.
Hey,
and have you and your family here yesterday and getting to walk around and show you our farm and also have dinner together. It has been so nice.
It has been wonderful. We really appreciate you hosting us and making us feel absolutely at home here. You have an absolutely gorgeous farm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about some of the, you have a lot of beautiful buildings. My wife says, this is a fairy tale farm. She's like, could we really have this nicely painted buildings and everything just so? How did that all come about?
Well, it's not really a fairy tale farm. It's cost a lot.
Okay.
And one of the things is, as you know, we're standing here next to the cemetery, and my pretty bride is buried here in the cemetery. And as beautiful as the farm is and our story has been, as you know, a lot of times those things are tempered with incredible amounts of difficulty and heartbreak. And so we've had a lot of that at the same time. The one thing that we try to do is, as we're homesteading here on the farm and following our dreams, we just want it, for some reason, I'm wired in a way that if it looks beautiful, it encourages and inspires me, and I think it inspires other people. Some other folks, it doesn't matter to them. They just want it to be functional.
There you go.
I really like it to be, I like it to look and feel nice at the same time, and so far, we've been able to manage to sort of keep it up pretty well. I appreciate your encouragement there. But the farm I bought this farm originally in 1999. I moved to Nashville in 95 to be a songwriter and learn how to tell stories and write songs. And I had my first success at the end of 1988, and I made some royalties. I had no credit. Well, I did have credit, really bad credit. And so I was able to get the farmer and his sister who had grown up here. They were in their 70s by then. They financed me, and I bought this farmhouse. And I moved in the summer of 1999 with my two older daughters who were young at the time. And we just started building a life. A few years later, I met and married my wife, Joey, in 2002. And she was sort of a born homesteader. She was raised in Indiana on a farm. And so she immediately put in a garden, and we've had chickens for years and years and done some meat birds and different things. And then through the years, it's just evolved. I wrote a song for Blake Shelton, Paul Overstreet and I did, called Some Beach. And my wife let me use some royalties from Some Beach to build Some Barn. And that's that big red one there. And at the time, it was just a shop. It was just a 40 by 70 square with a couple of car bay doors. And I just tinker around on an old car and keep our lawnmower and some tools and stuff in it. And then the farm has just evolved a little bit over time. And my wife and I ended up having our own music career. Her and my sister opened a family cafe, which you guys have a little store in your town.
Yeah.
And we opened a family cafe down the road. And then we were given the opportunity to become a duo together singing, Joey and Rory. And God had a whole other career path. Besides my songwriting, we got to be singers and travel all over the world. And we were very blessed from 2008, for the next, 8 years or so. And we were on the road all the time. And my wife finally got to a place where she decided she didn't want to just sing about living on a farm. She wanted to live on a farm. So we decided to come home, and we converted our barn we pushed everything out of the way and turned it into a place where we could make our own television show and start sharing our music from home. And instead of traveling from town to town and seeing people and singing for them, we started showing up in people's living rooms across the country. And that kind of changed everything. So that's where the concert hall came from. It became a little bit of a soundstage and just kept morphing. And now it's an incredible TV studio and concert venue. And then over here, we have a schoolhouse. It's a one-room schoolhouse reimagined. Now, it's pretty special. We have a dozen children, a full-time teacher. They have their own gardens, greenhouse, outdoor learning center, hobbit house, playgrounds. They got a livestock barn. They do chores, and they really learn lots of homesteading skills every day. But again, that was, as beautiful as it is, it wasn't really in our plans. My wife got sick not long after our little girl was born. We had a little girl named Indiana who was born in 2014, and Joey got cancer and passed away in 2016, and she was going to homeschool Indiana, so we had to come up with another option. And so that's how we ended up building this one-room schoolhouse, and it's become so special. This is the 5th year it's been going on, and although it wouldn't have been our first choice, it's been really wonderful.
It really looks iconic out here. And,
Thank you.
And I really love the concept of teaching children a lot more than just a book. A book does not teach a child what they need to know in life. Not that they don't need to read a book. They do. But it is super important to live our lifestyles with our children.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there can be super book smart kids that really don't know how to live.
We've tried really hard to treat this to be the ultimate classroom. It's like, well, let's go outside. There's so much to learn here, and also let our kids learn when they're ready. We don't have because you've homeschooled all your kids, right?
We have, yeah.
Yeah, and there's just something freeing about not only rethinking our food, but rethinking our children's education. And I have loved it because my little girl, she might learn a little bit different than anybody else. And if she had to be kept to the same speed and tempo as everyone else, I think she would have struggled. But on her own, she's excelled past a lot of people because she hasn't had to do it the way that everybody else has. So it's been a gift.
I think that's a real beauty in homeschooling or one-room school or any of that.
This is homeschooling. It's a home and a school. It's just different.
No, it makes all the sense in the world. And we did the same thing with our children. We allowed them, hey, 2 or 3 hours a day, maybe 6 months out of the year with a book. The rest of the time, you're expected to work, do chores, come up with responsible projects, and it's been amazing to watch them bloom. Now my oldest is in her 30s, but they are all very successful young people at this point.
That's wonderful.
And several of them work with Azure still, or most of them do actually, but it's been really amazing to watch because it's not like they're very well educated, but they're able to manage crews that are way better educated than them, and they never know that's the case.
Yeah,
it's because they know how to live.
That's great.
And I really love the concept of home on the farm education.
Well, I'm excited about it too, because besides the children learning some of these homestead skills, some of these traditional skills and crafts that are just not being passed down anymore, we're also working on another classroom so we can also do adult continuing homestead education here and teach not just children but adults of all ages. I'm 58 and I'm a new homesteader. And it's heartbreaking that I didn't get here sooner, but I'm just glad to be here. And not just because of the way the world is, but just because there's something that's just so meaningful and purposeful about growing your own food and building a home economy and just rethinking all of these things. It's been such a gift.